So many people in my life who haven't been keeping up with me are like, wait a second, Tahani had a baby? When did Tahani have a baby? So yes, I'm Tahani, I'm 32, I'm the proud mother to a 14-month-old son, and a lot of people have a lot of questions as to how this came to be. What's the shock? People have babies, I know, but I had a baby before I got married. Gasp! You have to understand though, I am the calculating type. I'm typically the one who comes up with the greatest plan, runs it by every single person that I know, and once we all agree that I'm going down the path of perfection, then and only then will I take action. I've been knocking it out of the park with my life decisions since I was a wee lass, so having a baby outside of the bounds of wedlock was a big shock to all of the people who know me very well and care about me. At the time, I had no idea that I was blindsiding them, but in hindsight, I should have known that I was blindsiding them. I'll say it right now, I'll set the record straight. The right way to do things is to get married first and have the baby after. You got me. But guys, have you ever been in love? Spoiler alert, love is the answer as to how I got the cart before the horse, but I'm gonna back it up a little bit and tell you my story. Well, telling you my whole story would take like a really long time, but I'll just talk to you about my dating life and kind of how I arrived at the pinnacle of the story, which is having my sweet baby. So as we've established, I was a pretty good kid and I wasn't allowed to start dating until I was 16. So I had one high school boyfriend, one college boyfriend, and didn't really start dating around until I was on my own, well on my own in the real world. Would not recommend that to a friend. I think that you should probably be a little bit more experimental with your dating while you're still under your parents' roof. You have some people keeping an eye on you and providing some much needed perspective. Probably from age 23 to 27, I would say I was dating for fun. Dating for fun is a concept that they make up on TV and it sounds really good, but in hindsight, big waste of time. Did I have fun? Yes. Did I meet a bunch of interesting people? Yes. But I really didn't start being intentional about the people that I was allowing into my life and choosing for my life until right around 27. 27 is when I felt very grown up. I was like, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know what I don't want, and it is time to get serious about finding someone to spend the rest of my life with. I had read a ton of books on dating. I had followed some people online who I really admired who gave great dating advice, and I was ready to put myself out there for real. Then, just when I was super excited to get out there, COVID happens. So that really took the wind out of my sails as far as dating goes. But COVID started in March. Around June, July, I had met this guy and we ended up dating for the next 2.5 years. But like many people who start dating during COVID, it went one of two ways. You either, the person you were dating during COVID were like, you know what? We've seen hard times. Now I know who you really are and I want to be with you forever. And they got married. Or you were like, you know what? This relationship made a lot of sense at the time, and now that we're well out of COVID and I'm looking down the barrel of the rest of my life, I don't think this is for me. Which I guess that's not just how COVID relationships go. I guess all relationships end the same of those two ways. You either stay with them forever or you break up. So nothing revolutionary. But I think COVID made time pass by a little bit sooner and I probably shouldn't have stayed in that relationship as long as I did. Great guy, just not the right guy for me. So after I got out of that relationship, not only did I want something new in my romantic life, I wanted a whole new life for me personally. I felt like I had such a great cozy little life with some very comfortable friends, comfortable routines in the town that I was living in, and I just needed a push. I needed to be doing something different for work. I needed to be around different people who had different worldviews. I needed a bigger world. So I picked up and I moved to the next biggest city near me, which was Nashville. When I got to Nashville, I found myself a nice little girl home on a hill in Sylvan Park. I made some amazing friends. I was really getting out socially, started salsa dancing, started going to book clubs, started biking around town, skating around town. I got into some serious hobbies. My life was good. It was a good post-breakup period for me personally. And it snapped me back into that zone that I was in around the time that I was 27. I was like, I like me, I'm happy with me, and I'm ready to find the person that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with. Probably 6.5, almost 7 months after my breakup and about 4 months after I moved is when I met my now husband. Now wait a second, Tahani, aren't you not married? I thought that was the whole point. You had your baby outside of wedlock? Okay, touche. We haven't had a wedding per se. We did have the pleasure of having a private vow ceremony before the baby was born, but I'm getting ahead of myself. It's August going into September. It's cuffing season. I'm going on a lot of great dates, meeting a lot of great men, but one really stands out to me. It's like all the years that I spent dating people that were completely wrong for me gave me like this crystal clear image of the person that I was looking for, and it was so easy to see the value alignment when I started meeting people who saw eye to eye with me and had the same vision for the future. The way that I was on our dates was so authentic. I was just laying it all out on the table. I wasn't being too forward, but I was just saying, look, I'm looking for a life partner. I want to get married. I want to start a family in the next handful of years. I'm not here to see what happens and maybe have a medium to short-term relationship. I want a partner. Try as I may have, I wasn't able to scare him off. Instead, he felt the same way about me that I felt about him. So within a couple short months, we became exclusive. He was kind of a wild man. I don't think a lot of people expected him to settle down. And to be fair, I think nobody expected me to settle down either. So when you take two people that are completely comfortable living on their own, who have an entire full life without a partner, and then you bring those two people together, you could expect it to go one of two ways. Either you're so used to being independent that you just can't really get the partner thing down and you just kind of fizzle out, or it's like fireworks. In all of the relationships that I've had in the past, very few people have ever made me feel comfortable with the idea of a family. Like, it wasn't baked in for me. I was always take it or leave it, or it was always like, someone really incredible is going to have to come around if I'm going to start a family, because that sounds like a lot of work. I was very me. I was very independent, and I loved my life. I loved being a princess, and I didn't want to step down from my princesshood in order to step into motherhood unless things were really right. When I found myself in a situation where I felt like things were right, I just went for it. We just went for it. I was pregnant a couple months after we started dating. I wasn't even like worried about it. I was just like, nice. Can't wait to tell my parents. I did wait to tell my parents because they say you're supposed to wait to tell people. They say you're supposed to wait like 3 months to tell anybody. That was probably the biggest mistake I made of this entire pregnancy, is waiting that long. I'm a very public person, as you can see by this expose of my personal life. Regardless of how the pregnancy fared, I probably should have been speaking to the people that I care about it, because I'm a talker. But we played it really safe for some reason in keeping things under wraps for an entire 3 months. And so by the time we did start sharing it with my parents, his parents, my family members, people were pretty shocked. Every day of my pregnancy was filled with prayer. Every night was filled with affirmations about the life going inside of me. Every day was filled with joy and excitement for the future that we were about to usher in. I swear to God, this isn't scripted. This is literally just like how I felt. And in a way, I found out later that moving on this big decision independently seemed like such a betrayal to the people around me. They wanted to be there to discuss the pros and cons. They wanted to be there to say, hey, let's have a wedding so that I can be there and give you the stamp of approval. Let's, enjoy a long, leisurely engagement so we can really get to know this person, just so, you're sure, but we want to be sure too. We want to protect you because we love you. It's so fair. Their feelings are so fair on all of this. But speaking for myself, the timing was just perfectly right. When you think about the appropriate window for someone like me to have a baby, I would say probably like anytime between 20 and 40 is a functional, sensible time to have a baby. Half of that was gone. Half of that was already gone by the time that I first got pregnant. My heart said, this is the right person, this is the right place, this is the right time. And so came the baby. Pregnancy was so eye-opening. I learned so many things about my body. I learned so many things about womanhood that I actually felt sick that I didn't know all these things before I got pregnant. And that's kind of why this channel started. There are so many things that I learned about my body, my intuition, my nervous system, motherhood, community, child rearing, like just ancient wisdom, health, like homeopathy, like I've learned so much. And as a nerd, you think you know all the things you're going to be nerdy about. You're like, I like space and anime and music. And you think that you know all the things that you're going to nerd out about. I would have never thought that there were so many things to nerd out about when it comes to procreation and motherhood. So the baby came. That was a journey. The wedding is ahead of us. I'm sure that's going to be a journey. And everything that I share here is all the stuff that I've learned and or am learning. This was a long-winded video, but I just wanted to share a little bit about how I ended up being the proud mom to my sweet 14-month-old baby boy. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a mistake, it was a choice I made with a lot of love in my heart, and thank God, a lot of support later on from my friends and family. So if you're a friend or a family member, I'm so happy that you're here. I have so much to share, and I really think that I could help a lot of people by having this channel. If you love me, subscribe to my channel, like and hype this video if that's an option for you. Personally, I've been on YouTube a very long time, and I thought it's time I start taking up more space around here. So I'll let you get back to the rest of your day. It looks like my little one is about to wake up and start bonking around. So I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.